I'm 32 next month, and I think these years of your life between maybe the ages of 25 and 35 are the most critical almost when it comes to how the rest of it's going to look. And I think that's why so many people struggle with purpose. And the reason why I'm filming this video is because I was kind of going through a transition of not really knowing that. And this is why I'm filming this video. I moved to Spain just about 2 years ago, and in that time, just before that, a lot had happened between ADHD, ASD diagnosis. If you're watching this and you're neurodiverse, that's a bomb in itself. And then my second child was born. I was at the point when I didn't really know what I was doing. I'd built up 250,000 followers across platforms, was selling a lot of recipe books, had more clients than I could really handle. I was making good money, and I was so unbelievably depressed. And I think that was the massive reminder and probably the massive push that, well, you've been thinking about moving to Spain, just do it. So we did. We've been here 2 years, and the reason why I've been struggling to film this video is because when it comes down to making any kind of decision in your life, you're going to have the people that are at a level, whether they're friends, family, and they are your friends maybe from childhood or whatever. And if they're not what you would want your life to be and what you see your life being, taking advice from them is kind of invalid. And I think this is where I'm kind of in this weird lonely chapter where I'm transitioning a lot of stuff, which I can't go fully into just now, but the premise of this video is the fact that if anyone's feeling this way about committing and doing something, I think one of the biggest things that I found, and if you're interested in learning about ayahuasca and psychedelics, that's not necessarily what this video is about, but that's kind of how I came to that conclusion, how I get out of that rut. I'll pop the video at the end of this. It's still something that I always gravitate towards, that experience and the insights that I gained and gathered from it. But it doesn't mean to say that I haven't struggled the last while, just with like purpose, what I'm doing, day-to-day connections here. Like nothing that you ever do is plain sailing. But for me, I will most likely never come back to the UK. And this is where I know that regardless of what happens in my life, I've made that decision, and the only regret that I would ever have is the what if. If you're making a decision and it's not an impulse, it's been in your head, and regardless of you sleep on it for weeks, months, maybe even years, and it doesn't go away, that's not an impulse. You might make the decision and then it happens impulsively almost really quickly, which it did for me. But it's been ingrained in my head as a potential regret if I don't do it. And it's like kind of, that way if you had a gun to your head and you had to diet, right? Obviously that's predominantly what my job is right now, and has been for the last 10 years. Gun to your head, you would find and figure out a way to do it and lose the weight. It's looking at the two kind of roads of your life of where you would like to go, and looking at, okay, it's not necessarily about how far away you are from it, it's like, are you even moving towards it? And that's the question I had to ask myself, the difficult question. And see the fact that if you're still watching this, you've probably got a better attention span than the majority of people, because I've deliberately not put hooks and all this sort of stuff in it. And this is just me. And I think probably what exhausted me was building up the followers, selling the recipe books, and having to portray this act of kind of a person that I wasn't, and it's exhausting. That I thought, I'm just going to speak, and whoever comes into my world at that point, that's why I'm enjoying YouTube, then most likely aligns with me. Maybe whether they're following me for my nutrition advice, the fact that they've got ADHD, autism, they're neurodiverse, they own a business, whatever. Like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing with this channel yet, but for me, it's really just about sharing human experience. So many people, I think, are just absolutely lacking that. They're lacking human experience, and I've found that here, partly down to the language barrier, but partly down to the fact that I'm just not putting myself into loads of different situations. I do have friends here, but I think this is where it's like, if your friend has been your friend since childhood, it's very unlikely that they align with you in adulthood. And that sounds a bit mental, but it's very unlikely. If you meet someone who is your friend as you've developed, as you've went into self-development, as you've progressed in your life, they'll probably be a lot more of a true friend. And that's not true for everyone. That's just my own personal experience. But if you're going through, and it's Chris Williamson talks about this, he talks about the lonely chapter between when you separate from your friends, family, but you've not yet found your kind of new group of people. And that's probably why I was probably struggling for the last 9 months with purpose. But there's a lot of changes and stuff that I'm putting in to my current business and a new venture that I'm going into next year that have really excited me again. And I think that's how I wanted to end this video, other than the fact that there's a free community down below for the waiting list that you can join. If you need help with your nutrition, managing your life, or even just want to ask some questions about how to manage stuff around ADHD, autism, etc., I want to have that community kind of cover those bases. Whatever you're thinking of doing, if it's something that's been in your head for longer than a few weeks or a few months, there's a reason for it. And understand that regardless of anything, any change is going to be difficult. And I have found this amazing in some ways, difficult in others, but I also wouldn't change it. So whatever you decide to do, just don't have the regret of not doing it. And yeah, that's what I'll leave you on. Any questions, pop them down below. I'll pop the ayahuasca video here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.